Hi guys, welcome back to PBTV. We are here to look at another Delta Armories, this time a Alpha 13 Eagle. This is called the Talos 3, which I think is an absolutely fantastic name. These are another entry in that sort of CQB environment style platform. Really short, really easy to maneuver, but with it being an Eagle, it has pretty much every feature you could possibly need in that kind of environment, and more that you're probably not going to use in CQB. So as always with these little breakdowns, we'll start at the front, work to the back, and then deep dive into what this thing can do internally. So as completely standard, there is a 40mm counterclockwise thread on the front of this, but instead of a standard flash hider, they've chosen to go with this sort of not sound dog to say, but almost like that muzzle brake sort of linear compensator style. Really cool for CQB on sort of short platforms. Very popular in the sort of real steel world when it comes to the short builds like this. We then have a nice and short M-lock style rail, really thin, easy to maneuver, but you've got loads of real estate for accessories. So we've got M-lock on the right, left and bottom. Some of that has already been used to fit the included hand stop. Again, this can be used both ways. So in the box, it comes as it is, but you could quite easily flip this, put it at the back and do it as a sort of pull hand stop rather than a push. Really versatile and being able to turn it both ways. Again, having the knurling on the front, some might think that's a sort of a jam. You can hold that against the door, hold a really tight shot, and almost use that as a brace against some cover. With that sort of smaller barrel, people are expecting a lower accuracy, but this thing's coming out about 310 FPS with a 6.03mm tight bore, so range and accuracy are not going to be a problem, especially in them tight environments. This is going to be putting BBs almost on top of each other in sort of corridors, rooms and buildings. On the top, we've got the standard 20mm RIS, so attached to that we do have the spring-loaded iron sights, but if you're wanting to swap anything out, all your standard accessories, pec boxes, lights will easily mount onto there. We do have the spring-loaded at the front and spring-loaded at the back, so we have a peephole and a pin-style iron sight, but again, these are just sort of emergency sights, backup sights. If you wanted to run them like that, CQB iron sights are totally fine, but they're not inherently overly accurate because obviously BBs and iron sights, you're pretty much blocking most of your view when you're trying to do this. So really good to keep as a backup, but when you've got a dot sight on this, say the battery runs out, you can still flip these up, shoot through the tube and still have some accurate rounds going down range. But you've got plenty of space on the receiver. Again, magnifiers, red dots, all going to fit on here. Gives you that option that if you are wanting to take this outdoors, it will still perform and perform really, really well, that you can have that magnification and you've got the space to do so. Looking at the receiver, this is an Alpha, so that means that the receiver is metal and the rail is metal. Delta Armories have three distinctions. They've got Alpha, Bravo and Charlie. That's nothing to do with performance or internal. It is just a sort of prefix as to how the gun is externally put together. So a Charlie is plastic or polymer. The Bravos are polymer receiver, metal rail. The Alphas are full metal. So you get a full metal receiver and a full metal rail, meaning this does come in at about 2.3 kilos, I think was the stat that we checked. A lot of that is back here because of the metal receiver and the stock being the PDW style one. There's a lot of weight back here, so when you hold it you can feel it sort of tilt back. Once this shouldered and ready to go, it is a very, very stable platform that's going to definitely cut through them corridors really, really nicely. You'll be able to slice the pie and get them first shots off really, really easily with this thing. Looking at the controls, it is right-handed dominant, so we do have the selector on the left-hand side. So we're currently in safe, we've then got semi-auto and flicking it all the way around to full, but that is changeable with the Eagle, but we'll come on to that. Mag release on the right-hand side, dropping that out gives you the 120-round mid-cap, so we'll need a speed loader to do that, and if you notice, there's very little wiggle in these mags, so they are nice and tightly fit. There are some platforms out there that if you put backwards pressure, it takes the feed away from the hop, and sometimes they have a bit of a misfeed. With the lack of wobble in this, absolutely any bang, hit or rub, you're still going to be putting BBs through that hop and getting rounds down range. Racking the bolt back, we do have a rotary style hop in there. Again, you'll hear me harp on about the rotary ones all the time, that once they're set, they basically stay there all day. Some of the gear ones or the slider ones, when BBs go through the hop, they have a habit of sort of slightly adjusting the hop off slightly, so after a while you may need to readdress. With the rotary style one, once it's set, it's good to go. This thing will quite easily run 2 5s, 2 8s. It's doing 310 on 2s, so you're not really going to suffer from any dual creep or go over anything. You are good to go in any single environment. Nice standard AR style pistol grip, really comfy with the cutout at the top, meaning your webbing can sit and you can get a really good purchase on the platform. Race style trigger with some knurling on it means this thing you can bounce on that and get some repeated shots off really easily. PDW style stock, some people look at these and think it's not for them. There is still plenty of space in this because there's no MOSFET in the tube. You've got this whole space here to fit a battery in it, so you can drop that in there. In here as well, it is a Dean's connector, so depending on what batteries you've got, make sure it is a Dean's style, and you can just simply press the button and it collapses down into a really small, easy to pack away platform. If you wanted to run it like this, you can do. If you wanted to get around them corners, it's not necessarily advisable. You want to keep this stock all the way out so you can get your purchased shots and get some clean follow-ups as well. You quite easily fit 1000 milliamp in there, and with the Eagle MOSFET inside, you're going to get plenty of battery power because you're not drawing as much as a standard AEG would, so you're still going to get the life out of this with a lower battery or a lower size battery compared to a standard platform that's maybe running a 1450 milliamp. With that said, it is a 7.4 LiPo that we recommend, or a 9.6 NIM. Probably recommend LiPo just because of size and spacing in there. You've got a smaller battery. Keep it to 7.4 purely to prevent pre-engagement with our power limits and it being down at that 310. It does have 18:1 gears, so the rate of fire is perfectly fine on 7.4. But looking inside this, the tricks are with the Eagle MOSFET. So if you're in any environment you want a slightly different fire mode, obviously as standard we've got the safe, semi and full auto. But if you want burst, this thing can be set up to have anywhere from 3 to 5 round burst in any of its settings, so you can have safe, semi, burst mode. There is a semi only mode, probably not overly useful on this because you're not really going to build this into a DMR, but the Eagle MOSFET itself has that capability to have it locked to semi. So if you are wanting to build a DMR, look at the Eagle range, look at one that looks in that sort of fit that you're after, and then you can grab one of these. There is also a sniper delay mode in this, not a common feature in MOSFETs, but there's one here nonetheless. Probably not going to be using the CQB one, but again, looking at the Eagle range, if you're wanting to build an AEG into a sniper platform, and if your site allows it, run all the way up to that 500 FPS mark, you can have the sniper delay on this, which means that when you pull the trigger, it will fire a single round, and then it locks the trigger out for X amount of time. Again, discuss this with your site. Proving grounds, we allow it. We have set timings in, so as long as it works the same as a bolt pull, probably about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, it fires, goes dead, fires, and it goes dead. And then the full auto has the same feature, so it's not like semi full auto or sniper delay full auto. You have sniper delay and that is it. There's then no semi auto or other options. We do have an AUG mode on this. Again, if you're trying to just save rounds or you want to just maybe put a few extra down if the need arises, that you will have semi-auto, and then when you flick it into full auto, it will fire a single round, and then after a couple of seconds, it will ramp into full auto. So you have that sort of back trigger pull. It's not inherently full auto all the time. You've just got that almost 2-stage trigger as an option. The main feature that a lot of people like with MOSFETs is this does have the precocking feature. So with the semi-auto, you are going to have an exceptionally rapid sort of trigger response, because instead of the piston being here, and when you fire, it has to cock back and then fire, what it is the piston sits here, so as soon as you pull the trigger, the round is gone and then it precocks. So what that means, it's sat there waiting to fire the BB rather than coming back, loading around and then firing. It's milliseconds in difference, but once you've got used to it, it's almost difficult to go back to the old system because you're almost firing and moving off before the BB's in and left your barrel going the other way. The easiest way to describe it is when you've been playing maybe a 120 FPS game and you go back to a 60 FPS game, it looks really, really slow, even though it's not that difference. That once you've got used to that precocking, the trigger response is so crisp and clean and so nice that you're being able to double tap, move on, and have the confidence that that round is gone and you've got your targets down and you can move on to someone else. One of the best features in sort of MOSFET advancements over the years has been that, and it's what people want in their platforms, and this thing has it in a pretty savage CQB platform that is going to be very, very popular. But really, really impressed with this thing. I think it looks the absolute business as well. Really nice, short, aggressive front end. You've got the M-lock to put all your accessories on wherever you need it. Nice little linear compensator on the front, a little bit different than the standard. But again, you can take that off and put a trace unit or a device on there if you need to. Compact, nice stock. Some people, again, Marmite, you can have these, not have these. The battery space is the battery space, but there's plenty of space in that to let this thing run all day. But yeah, the only other feature I'd mention is that these are uniquely serial numbered as well, just an added feature for your own security. On the left-hand side, there is a serial number on here. You can just note that down, and then if it ever goes missing, you can put it out there and people can keep an eye out for you. But I think it's a nice little addition that they've just thrown on there. But yes, so this has been the Delta Armory's Talos 3. So this is an Alpha 13, so an A13, so it means it's a metal and metal rail. Nice little compact platform that's going to be really, really popular in CQB environments, but it will still quite comfortably perform outdoors with that tight bore and that 18-to-1 gears, keeping that rate of fire down. But if this is something you're interested in, they are online right now, so if you want to check them out, please check the website. But if that is everything for today, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in a bit. Bye.